Yes, people, welcome back to the Big Steve Show. Listen, yesterday, Stamford Bridge, Manchester City 4, Chelsea 4. Don't think anyone's seen it coming. I did say on the Big Six Show it was going to be a tough game. People thought I was taking the piss and trolling and that. But, I've watched enough football to realise when teams have a good result like they did at Tottenham, they were going to come at home and have a little go. And it was mental. He's still traumatized by it. He's having a night off. Go and join me, Geordie. Geordie, mate, tell me about that game yesterday. What went on there?
Right, it was a wild game. I was saying then just before we went live that it's like a rock and roll game. That's, you know what that is? That is a mint advert for the Premier League. That to show people that and say this is the league that we've got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because that's up there. And if you think about like all our previous games with Chelsea recently, they've all been 1-0s. They've all been really tight. For it to be that open of a game and be a 4-4 is a madness. There's a lot of people unhappy with the way that City played. Obviously, we weren't at our best, and defensively we looked a bit all over the show. But at the end of it, I kind of wasn't too upset with the fact that we drew.
No.
I was more. We're still.
Well, let me tell you, coming out the ground, you'd thought they'd won the league by what was going on in the streets, which they're entitled to. They've had a bit of a shit season, but come on, they claim to be Chelsea. They've been waving European Cups at us for 10 years, telling us all about what they've been doing and that, and they've won everything. And they were a minute away from getting beat 4-3 in a mad game. But yeah, City's defending yesterday wasn't great. It wasn't for me. When you're trying to play Manuel Akanji in that midfield, when he's trying to come into the midfield, you're leaving gaps. And against teams with pace, they exploited it. Raheem Sterling turned into fucking prime Messi, right? He was like a man possessed. Yeah. So they knew, he was going up against Walker and was having a go. I think that sometimes the gap between Ruben Diaz and Guardiola was massive. So, and the midfield, you got a problem yesterday. When you play with Julian Alvarez there, you're a midfielder down, in my opinion, because he's sort of floating around in no man's land. When we've got the ball, Alvarez is great. When we've not got the ball, sometimes he's all over the place. He's like a kid in the playground chasing after the ball. You know what I mean? He just goes running everywhere, and the shape can go to shit. It works a lot of the time against the lesser sides, but Chelsea yesterday, I think, did the homework. I think they realised that we were going to push Akanji into the midfield, but then it left us exposed. I mean, the first goal, the penalty, we see that more or less every week in the Premier League, people getting dragged all over. Whether they've decided to clamp down on it recently, I don't know. I'm not going to moan about it. You know what I mean? We've seen a lot of shitty decisions go against us, so I'm taking it. We get our noses in front, 1-0, and then you're thinking to yourself, we're going to go and crush these from here. But like you said, what did you think of that penalty decision?
I'm kind of with you in the fact that I weren't really complaining. I was looking at it thinking it could be, but we see that, like you say, we see it all the time. You don't see it given. Whether or not they've made a decision now to start clamping down on it, but it just kind of feeds into the inconsistencies with it. It's like the when we played United as well, and we got our penalty against the Rodri one, and then I don't know how far after it was, but you see Maguire all over Haaland, and if the first one was a penalty, then the second one should have been a penalty. The inconsistencies where I think it just lies, and in our chat in the watch long, everyone was saying we cheated, buying the referee, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like you said, there it swings and roundabouts, mate. We'll get shit.
Well, I was puzzled in the stadium. But I was puzzled in the stadium. I didn't know what was going on and then it popped up VAR penalty check, but I couldn't see where the penalty was coming from. But the biggest issue is, I'm telling you now, when we pushed Akanji into midfield, we just looked rocky at the back, and they were so quick when they won the ball and getting the ball forward. People like Conor Gallagher were running 30, 40 yards into space and letting shots off. Cole Palmer was obviously playing against his former club. He was ticking along. for me, that would have been panic stations. I'd have been tempted to take Alvarez off earlier and put another midfielder in there, even a Nunes, just to get the energy levels up.
Yeah.
I thought that Nardo and Rodri ran the bollocks off, and I mean ran the bollocks off. But I thought when you're a man down in there, now I'm not discrediting Alvarez because in 90% of the games that works. But yesterday, you could see it wasn't going to work. You could see it. So, you know, I'd have thought when we got our noses in front, he might have changed it a bit sooner. But, you know, Jeremy Doku, okay, you know, there's people raving about Doku. Great. Jeremy Doku should have finished that game off yesterday. When we broke on him just before he came off and he was one-on-one with the defender and he cut on the outside and shot.
Yeah.
That should have been 4-2, game over then. Then we shut up shop. But he didn't. So it's all right having the tricks of the turns on the halfway line. It's all right having the burst of pace. It's all right beating players. But these are decisive moments critical moments where you got to take that chance. You know what I mean? And then there's a reason why he's getting hooked. I wouldn't have hooked him off because I thought we were getting a bit of joy and I thought they was a bit panicky to go too far forward because they had Jeremy as the outlet. When they brought Grealish on, I thought they felt like, well, Jack's not going to burst 60, 70 yards past us. We'll catch him. So let's push up a little bit. And it sort of played in their hands. And they swapped Sterling over to Guardiola and put Mudryk on Walker. And then that whole front line then was paced like mad. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We can sit here and criticise the defence all we want. It was a one-off game. It was 4-4. The defence went out the races. And, you know, so what? Does it make them bad defenders? No. Does it mean, oh, shit, next game we're going to be all over the place? No. You know what I mean? We'll go to the Etihad and then we'll sort it out. It was just one of them mad games that nobody could predict. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a freak game.
When he equalised, did you think that, you know, it was just one of them things? Could you see City losing the game? I couldn't see City losing me. I thought if they'd had gone up a gear, we'd have gone up a gear. That's how I felt about it. You know what I mean?
I didn't see us losing, but when they equalised, I also didn't think that was it because you could see how open the game was from the off. And obviously they equalised pretty fast after we scored. I backed us 100% to go get another goal, even though that we weren't playing great. And like I said before about the midfield, it seemed very open, the midfield. It seemed like they could just run straight through us. I was like, there's definitely more goals coming here. There's definitely more goals coming. So then after we went, after they equalised, still confident. And then I was worried a little bit when they went 1-up, when it was 2-1. When they went 2-1, that's the point when I was a bit like, because you could see how open it was and how easy it was for them getting forward. It seems like every time they were going on the attack, I was like, these are getting chances every time they come forward. We didn't look solid enough. Like I say, the midfield just, I think, like lacking Alvarez because he was pretty much non-existent in that midfield. It made it so easy for them. And I was like, we're going to have a bad time here. And then
I just think we're a man down with him in there because they had Conor Gallagher, they had Saicedo in there, they got Cole Palmer knocking about in there. They were overloading us in there, and we had Bernardo. You know what Bernardo's like? He's running all over the place. He's chasing. He's pressing. That left Rodri exposed a lot of the time on his own. So then Akanji's come in the midfield to help him. But when the ball got bypassed over Akanji, they were 3-on-3 at the back and stuff, and it was like Reece James was getting over around the back and all that, and I thought, fucking hell, you know what's going on here? And then the second goal they scored, obviously it was a mistake from Guardiola. It got caught in his feet. Puts the ball across. Sterling taps it in. That Jackson, by the way, he's a fucking knob. Him. He was like telling Sterling to like celebrate and that and proper like go on celebrate. I was right in front of, mate. I was on the second row, and Sterling was like this with his hands, and he's going, "No, you tell him, and all that." And he's going, "You tell him, mate." He's got to be the 6th worst Jackson I've ever fucking known because the Jackson 5 were better than him. You put the Jackson 5 up front there, burying instead of him. He shit him. So he needs to calm down. He thought he was a part of something. You know, he'll be at like Montpellier or somewhere in fucking 18 months. So I won't be worried about him. But Raheem knew what he'd done there, and he was like trying to play it down. But fair play, you know, he played well. Cole Palmer was right in front of me as well, and he was like, I could see his face. I think he was thinking to himself, you know what? We're going to have City here today. But listen, not enough people are giving us credit. We've gone away from home. We've had a bad day at the office. We've scored 4 goals and we got a point. We're top of the league going into an international break. So what's the big meltdown about? You know what I mean? You get them games in the season.
We're top league by a point and we played shit. We played shit and didn't lose the game. So I don't know why people like now starting to say like it's a bit of a meltdown from City kind of thing, things like that, like throwing like loads of shit out I've seen today, and it's just a bit like you need to put things in context with the bigger picture, man. Like we're still top of league, and we're playing shit, and also I still think there's levels to go from this City side, like
But
major
don't
levels to
forget,
go.
when we lost to Arsenal a few weeks ago, it was game over apparently. You know, they'd won the league and all that. If they'd have said you're going into the international break in a few weeks' time and you'll be top of the league by a point, I'm having it all day long. Do you know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah,
We didn't lose. We came out of there yesterday gutted that we didn't win the game. They came out of there absolutely buzzing. They got a point. So that's the levels. We've gone to Stamford Bridge. We've scored 4 goals. We've got a point. We come away from it and we're gutted. But you know, it was just a mannerism. Obviously, you're winning 4-3 with 2 minutes to go and you give a penalty away. The penalty, listen, Ruben, how many blocks a season does Ruben Diaz do that saves us certain goals like that? He's jumped in with this one. He's mistimed it. He's piss wet through the pitch and he's took him out. You know what I mean? You can't argue against it. He cleaned him. But I don't know, Haaland first half when he took that touch and he was 1-on-1 and he blasted it
oh
low.
yeah,
And that keeper got
yeah,
down. I
yeah,
don't know. He saved it. Ederson with the save from long range that he tipped over the bar from the free kick from Reece James.
yeah.
But I just think you've got to appreciate a good game of football. You know, you go to games, you get so wrapped up in the game, so involved in it that you don't actually sit back and appreciate it. And A, I'm going to give Chelsea a bit of credit for actually having the balls to attack us. And B, I'm going to give City credit for not sulking and thinking, you know what, we're not letting this be their day today. We're not letting this be Chelsea's day. We're going to keep going. So both
Yeah.
teams deserve credit. And to be honest, coming out the game, a draw was a fair result.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think, like I say, I think both sides need credit. I think when I was watching it, I was like, as a neutral, this must be incredible to watch. Like neutrals must be buzzing watching that match, especially the last game before the end, like before this international break. It's perfect for like people to watch. It's just like you say, us as fans of either side, you get involved in it, so then like you let it dishearten you when like we drop points like that. Like I say, it's because the levels that we've set, basically. But yeah, like I say, it was a good game. It was a good game. Akash Josh here with a £10 donation. Yes, Akash, mate. £10 super chat says it was a soft pen, but Cucurella dived while on a yellow card and wasn't sent off. People complain about decisions for us, but say nothing against us. Doku got carded for diving and Cucurella didn't? Question mark. I don't remember Cucurella diving. I don't think.
I don't, to be honest. I seen Doku. It was right in front of me. It was proper pathetic, man.
Yeah, the Doku one was dead.
It was like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But listen, it is what it is. We can sit here and dissect the game tit for tat all we want. We should have done this. They should have done that. At the end of the day, it was a good game of football. City sometimes need these little wake-up calls in the season for Pep to sort of tinker with something. You know, if we start going away and we go on a roll and we start wasting everyone, and then all of a sudden we get caught out. We had a bit of a lesson yesterday how not to play. I don't think Akanji needs to play in that middle when you've got pace like that. And we didn't get burnt. We got a point. You know what I mean? I say it every season in title runs. There's going to be games where you know in your head we ain't going to win today because we just don't look at the races. But you can't lose. The other year against Brentford, we was never going to win. It was a draw. We went pushing up the pitch for it. They came back the other end, scored, we lost. Tottenham, we were 2-0 down. We got it back to 2-2. We went pushing up the pitch and fucking Harry Kane scored and we got beat. They're the games where you sit back and go, right, we got back to 2-2, we're having it. And I'm not saying sit back. We were 2 minutes away from winning it. It was a penalty. There's not enough time left. Another 10 minutes in that game would have been interesting, you know what I mean? Another 10 minutes, you would have... You just don't know. But listen, I'm not overly disappointed. I don't want to hear about the meltdown. I've had people sending me messages about fucking Ruben Diaz and all that. They need to get in the bin, man. Sort the fucking heads out. Look what Ruben Diaz has done for this club. You know what I mean? He's allowed one bad game. There's players out there having 6, 7, 8 bad games on the fucking trot. And we're having a meltdown because Ruben's brought someone down in the box in a 4-4. Come on, man. People need to remember where we've been.
I see people like going sick at Ruben and that, and Vardiol saying like, "Oh, these players are washed in that over one game." I think like people need to remember, innit? People got such short memories, and then like you have one bad game and that's it, you're done. Do you know know what I mean? People then start talking about, oh, we can't trust Ruben Diaz, things like that. Oh, we knew we shouldn't have signed him. Like, people always just jump on the back of it, and
You
it's
trust
not
Ruben
it's
Diaz
not
with
the
your
way to
life,
be.
man. You trust Ruben
Yeah,
Diaz with
yeah,
your life.
100%. Mate, he's sick.
How many in a season he blocks? The ones where he jumps in Champions League with his arms behind his back,
Yeah,
blocks
yeah.
them. Yesterday he's jumped in and Broja was a little bit clever, got his foot back down on the floor, got wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is. 50-50, innit? He either touches the ball, knocks that away and takes Broja out and it's clean, or he misses and he missed. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the bigger picture is we're top of the league by a point. You know what I mean? We're still there. We've got away from home, had a bad game, come away with a point. So I'm not overly asked. Do you know what I mean? I'm not overly asked. I've just thought, to say, Erling Haaland's back on the score sheet, another 2 goals. Do you know what I mean? We're doing all right. We're doing all right. I think we're still ticking along. We're not even getting into that second gear yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's levels to go from City. Amar with a super chat as well with a £2. He says it was Newcastle away basically. Pep will sort it the 3-3 last year.
Yeah, well, it happened. Yeah, last year we came from behind and we were panicking. Oh bloody hell! But it looked, at the end of the day, it looked like a good result. Newcastle away, because Newcastle went on a mad run and it was hard. I'm telling you now. Once, if Chelsea play like that at home against 80% of these teams in the Premier League, they'll win. They'll win.
Yeah.
And they've got Romeo Lavia and Nkunku coming back. So again, they're going to look strong. He seems to have finally found a little bit of a system that works.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Nkunku does. As like an outsider looking in, I think because obviously he was smashing it, but he's just been unfortunate with injuries. Well, big injuries since he's been back. I've seen people saying that he could be back for after the international break. So I'm interested to see how he does at Chelsea. And I think because like I said, they've spent so much money, so they've got the players there. It's just about finding, like, making it all click. And I think Poch is starting to click a little bit. They look, like you said, they look good against us.
Listen, you can't spend £1 billion.
Sterling stepped up.
You can't spend £1 billion in 18 months and not expect something to fucking click somewhere down the line.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Something's got to give, time. Like, you can't just spend.
They've had enough time together. They're training together. They're playing together. They've had a couple of smacks on the chin. They've realised that, and then they've realised that they got a good result at Tottenham. Sometimes you get these freak results that kickstart your season. We've seen it before, where even a bad result or a good result can trigger something. I think the Tottenham game gave them a little bit of belief. They came to City and they had a goal. They didn't sit back in their own half and shit themselves like they've done for the last few years. They actually thought, you know what, we'll have a do. And, other teams will probably try and copy that blueprint now and think, you know what, we'll attack City. But God help you if you attack City, because you can score 4. We can score 4 as well. So if you want a shootout with us, we'll have a shootout. You know what I mean? We're not scared of a shootout. Yeah, we didn't win. But yesterday we could have been talking about a 4-3 comeback win and everyone going mad how fucking fantastic it was that we came back. So, fine lines, man. Fine lines, fine margins.
Yeah, when he said then about an extra 10 minutes, like it would be well interesting to see an extra 10 minutes of that match to see which way it would have gone. If it would have stayed the same or like, because I didn't know when it was the added time, I was like, I don't even know if I want longer because 8 minutes or whatever. I don't even know if I want longer than what it is because I didn't know whether we were gonna shit the bed or we'd go and nick it. So I was so stuck right down the middle of I don't know whether I want this game to carry on or not. But there is news popping off, by the way. Edison is injured and withdrawn from international duty, and so has Kovacic as well. Both of them two injured.
I knew Edison was carrying something because before he palmed that one out to Jackson. He was on the floor and Ortega was warming up. So
they showed it on camera. And he was holding his ankle like on his foot, and he didn't look comfortable. So because I thought he'd get taken off because he was down for quite a bit, wasn't he? So clearly
probably have a little bit of a rest. Edison, I think he'll be all right. You know what I mean? But Kovacic, I don't know what's wrong with him. He looked okay yesterday when he came on, but.
He says a muscle.
It is what it is, man. Nunes, we've got Nunes there for a reason. You know what I mean? What's his reason? Is this going to be another Calvin Phillips signing where he just hangs around on the bench? Because I think he does bring a little bit of energy to the team, and I thought he might have got a run out near the end. You know what I mean? Just to get the energy level up in the midfield. But
it confuses me the Nunes thing because I genuinely don't know what our plan for him is. We barely see him, And then there's rumours about us going back in for Paqueta in January. So
Yeah.
we go get him in, and I feel like I just don't know where Nunes fits into this whole system. I don't know when he's gonna get the game time.
It's whether he's going to whether they get rid of Calvin, they bring in
Yeah,
Paqueta, and they try and turn Nunes into some sort of Rodri style backup. You know what I mean? Whether
yeah,
he
yeah.
can come in and just play that role, I don't know. But yeah, it is confusing. It is confusing. But yeah, the game yesterday, Erling scored again with his bollocks. Mint, love that. He can score with his
Yeah,
head. He can score
on
left,
that,
right. Now with his balls.
Erling Haaland with a £5 super chat there says Haaland got fed up with scoring with his feet and head, so he had different ideas yesterday. Yeah, guys got his
Yeah, just
balls in
rolled it
it.
in, didn't I? Yeah, good, good. But yeah, but that we was in the stadium and it came up possible handball, and we were like, obviously we just seen a scramble, and you're like, fuck, it takes the sting out of you. You've just been ballooning in the away end, everyone's
Yeah,
going off their head.
yeah.
And that comes up, you're like fucking shitting yourself, and then it comes up goal, and you're like, hey, but it just takes the moment out. You know what I mean?
It takes the emotion out of like celebrating goals. That's one of the worst parts about VAR completely is the fact that even when you score nowadays, you don't know if you can celebrate. So it's like it takes it out, it takes it away from it completely. But
The
it was
first thing
stupid
I
what
do
they were
is look at
checking as
them
well.
linesmen. Say
Yeah,
again,
it was
pal.
stupid. It was stupid why they were checking on the replay. It was they were showing Haaland's elbow and seeing if it touched Haaland's elbow as he was, and the ball was behind him.
Yeah, it's mad.
They had a shock. It was just a stupid check that wasn't needed.
No, it was,
But
and like you say, we've got to speak about Cole Palmer. You're going to get this. If Cole Palmer goes to Chelsea and doesn't play many games, everyone's laughing the bollocks off and saying Cole Palmer's shit anyway. And then now he's gone there and fair play to him. He's tearing it up. He's getting first team football. Fair play to him. And then he turned up yesterday and he had a good game. So
mhm.
listen, you can't knock him. I don't think he disrespected us in any way. Plus, you know what? Last minute penalty against a team that you've just left, let him celebrate. I'm not asked, are you?
We had a full like think about whether he'd celebrate or not. I don't think did he actually celebrate? I don't think he did he?
He
Palmer's
just
like
went.
celebration.
He
It was
just went.
very mute. Yeah, he did
Whatever.
the whole like thing like that. But
With the old Sancho thing at the Etihad, as if like I'm the bollocks. But to be fair, at the minute he is the bollocks. He's just been called up to the England squad today with
yeah,
Rico. But
he's showing that his decision to move has been right for him. He's played loads of games. He's their main penalty taker. He's scoring goals, and he's just been called up to England. So things are
I
going
just
well for
don't
him.
think
I'm not bothered. I
City.
want him to do well.
I just don't think City trusted him enough to play. And I don't think the fans would have. And it's all right looking back now, but if Pep had started Cole every week on the right, especially after Riyadh, then and he dropped a couple of 6-7s out of 10s, people have been saying he won't be good enough. He's gone to
Yeah.
Chelsea. They were struggling. They needed a spark. He's provided the spark. It's a totally different club at the minute,
Mhm.
and he's doing well for himself. And I wish him all the best. You know what I mean? I think he's going to end up at United, me somewhere down the line. And he's a red, isn't he, at the end of the day?
Yeah, yeah, he
So
is. So that'd be mad, that wouldn't it, if he ended up there. I've never been. You can best believe he'd end up scoring against us. You knew it was written in the stars that Sterling and Palmer would have something to say in that game. It was written, and
we
obviously
played against
they both
Raheem a
stepped
few
up.
times, and he's not done anything. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yesterday, he just looked like he got his tail up early. Usually Walker has him all day, but then he had a little bit of joy against Kyle and must have thought, you know what, I'm going for it. Plus, he's been dropped from the England squad again. He's probably got a point to prove. And
yeah,
I think he did all right. They both did all right. They're both ex-City players. They've both done things at City, but, it is what it is. It's 4-4. It's another point in the bag. We go away on international duty. We're hearing about these injuries filtering through. Little touch on Rico Lewis getting a full England call today. Brilliant to see. Young lad from the Manchester area getting an England call.
hmm
And Cole. I'm happy for Cole as well. What do you think of Rico? He's playing a couple of games here and there, but he's not quite got his foot in the door yet.
yeah. He's a bit in and out, innit? I think Walker's had something to say about it, obviously, because he's getting loads more game time now, and I think Rico's just got to bide his time, man. He'll be a mainstay in the City side in years to come. He's sick. He's so young and how well he plays, and now we're seeing him play when we were seeing him recently as an attacking midfielder or like in midfield, like pretty much so Walker and Rico can play in the same side basically. I'm not sure how much Pep will trust Rico in bigger games to do that. I don't think he'd do that. But I do think we'll see quite a bit more from him this season. Like I say, his foot just isn't firmly in the door yet.
No, he's not. Do you think it's now about time we signed a fucking left back? A natural left back? A fast left back? Because I'm thinking to myself, we've managed to mould these players into different shapes and stick them in that left back position and get away with it for so long. Yeah. I look at Guardiola yesterday against a bit of pace. I've seen Messi destroy Guardiola. He's only young, you know what I mean? You look at him and you think he's definitely a natural centre-back who can do that John Stone role for me. I think Guardiola in a couple of years will be marauding through that midfield, no problem. I look at him yesterday on the left. Certain games you're going to get away with it, but I thought he was a little bit exposed. I thought his positioning sometimes, I think he was looking and he was shouting Ruben a few times to come across and help him, but it was all over the place. But to not have a natural left back at the club, you know, we're talking about Barco from Boca Juniors and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd just be intrigued. Whereas if we do come up against a game like that, where we are against a little bit pace, and I'd rather pull Guardiola inside and put a nice left back on somebody there, But I think we've got to buy one, for now. I think we've got to do it.
I mean, like, even if the plan isn't to have, like, to start all the time with a left back, because, you know, Pep's loving this, like, 4 centre-back kind of thing. Even if the plan isn't to always start with left back, just to have one available on the bench.
The option, a young option.
It just gives you the option. Yeah, something that's there. Whereas at the moment, we don't have that. We're forced into playing the centre-back way because we don't have any other options.
Someone said Sergio Gomez, man. Sergio Gomez ain't a left back. He's not a left back. He's injured anyway.
He's a right winger for Spain.
That's what I'm
right
saying.
Winger for Spain. Like, he's played everywhere on the pitch. Like, he's not a left back. And I think that's why when he comes on now, he's pushed higher up on the left-hand side anyway. Basically plays left wing when he comes off the bench for us. And even then, that's a rarity.
There's somebody saying, relax, a bad game doesn't mean you need new players. Who's saying we need new players? I'm asking the question, should we sign a left back? And no one's having a meltdown after a draw, mate. So relax. You need to relax in the chat because no one's asking to upheaval the squad. We're just saying, wouldn't it be nice to have an option of a left back in certain games that can come in and give us a little bit more balance? Because when you've got a centre-back getting dragged all over the back line because you don't really know where he's supposed to play, shit happens like that. You know what I mean? The goal with Reece James, it got caught in his feet. So at the end of the day, I just think, like you said, the squad yesterday had 2 goalkeepers on the bench and we were a sub short. So if you've got a left back on that bench, what's the problem? I don't see it. Natural left back, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Even late in the game, right, put a left back on and play 3 across, play 5 at the back and see the game out. Diaz, Akanji, Guardiola across the middle. And if Guardiola has to step into midfield, let him. If not, he can step into a 5 and have a left back. You know what I mean? But I don't know. They know better than us.
It's been a long time that we've been basically forcing players into makeshift left backs. Like, what was our actual last left back other than Ben Mendy?
It's fucking Gael Clichy.
Was it Gael Clichy and Kolarov?
Yeah.
Like, that's so long ago. We don't ever have proper left
backs. I did that soccer social for Sky. I had to do a combined 11 with Man City, Man United in the treble in the Premier League era. And when it got to left backs, I was like, "What the fuck?" Do you know what I mean? The options was Fabian Delph, Mendy, Ake, fucking Kolarov, and Clichy.
Yeah.
They had Dennis Irwin. Fucking, they were coming out with some right worldies, and I'm like, shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is a position where
it makes you realise, isn't it?
No, it is. I just think there's got to be a left back out there, young left back who we can get integrate into the squad, who can, offer us something different. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
but listen, we've got
trust the club, innit?
Is there any more super chats?
Yeah. Leah Bonner says Fabrizio says Edison foot injury. Yeah. Edison with that foot injury. We've seen yesterday on the TV that he went down with it. Obviously, it's if there's any time to get an injury, now's the time because we're in the international break, so they can chill out for 2 weeks. Hopefully he's fine by the end of that as well, Kovacic. And Martin, yes, Martin from the Mancunian way. Big up, man. He says, evening, lads. Yes, our defence was off, but what can we expect when the ball's coming back at them every 30 seconds? Everyone north of Rodri didn't want to defend. It was a basketball game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
He's right. And he's watched a lot of games, Martin. He knows the score, not to panic. And sometimes you just got to be real on it. You know, the City players won't be having a meltdown. Pep won't be having a meltdown.
No.
He'll just be saying, look, you know, it is what it is. But he'll learn from things in that game where he'll think, right, we learned a lot when Rodri was missing. We learned a lot. We got slapped a couple of times. We bounced back. We didn't get slapped yesterday. We bounced back a couple of times as well, and we got a point. So it's just that, you know, if you want to play that system with John Stones, you've got to have somebody else that can do it, in my opinion. I think Guardiola's more capable of doing it in the future than Akanji. I just think Akanji's a little bit laboured in there. His first touch is not always the greatest. I think Akanji at centre-back with Diaz, talking to him and staying at centre-back, he's a solid player. As we've seen last year, we won the treble. I think Akanji going walkabout in midfield, trying to plug the numbers, is great when you've got the ball. But when you haven't got the ball, he's in no man's land, whether am I supposed to get back alongside Ruben or am I going chasing this ball? And that's what I think happens yesterday. And I think they had a midfield with Conor Gallagher and Caicedo in there, and it was full of energy. And I think that's where they were getting a lot of success. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel like he just, like you say, when we've not got the ball, he just looked a little bit lost, didn't know where to be, kind of just stood there looking about, not really knowing what his position was. Whereas when you've got John Stones in there, he knows exactly how to play that role. So it gives you more control in that midfield. And when they've got the ball, he knows where he needs to be. I think Pep clearly trusts Akanji more than he does Vardiol. I think it'll take a bit of time for Vardiol to learn that role, but I do think it's one that City should be looking at for a future thing. A future for Vardiol could be him stepping into that Stones role, because we know that Stones gets injured every season for a bit. So it's definitely something that he should be kind of moulded into, because I reckon he has the ability to do it. I think he's really good on the ball. So it's just a wait and see kind of thing.
No, but listen, I got back about 2 hours ago. We went out after the game into London, and we're talking to a few Chelsea fans, and they were really over the moon with the draw. They basically were saying, look, we've had a shit season. We've seen team come to Stamford Bridge and slap us. So for us to get a point against City and go toe to toe with them, they were refreshed, and they had every right to be. You know what I mean? Because they did play well, and they did look attacking. They did look a danger, and you know, they've had 2 great results for them. And then, but I said to my pal, and it mad, I said, "Oh, like we're here." I've been at Stamford Bridge loads of times over the years and been slapped and come out of there like beat. I come out of there after scoring 4 with a draw, and I was a little bit upset, but when I sat down and watched it back in the boozer, I was like, well, listen, the only thing I can say is what a great game of football. Nobody took a backward steps. Both managers said, let's fucking have it. Both sets of players had it. There was tackles, there was fucking handballs, people pulling each other down, there was drama, VAR. It literally, like you said at the beginning of the show, it was a great advert for the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. It's a perfect one, mate. It's a perfect one, and I think it's one that we'll definitely be looking at towards the end of the season. I mean, especially if we win the league, people won't have a reason to speak about the game or consider it drop points or anything. And I think they'll be looking back going, what a game of football that was that we got to witness this season. A 4-4 at Stamford Bridge is mad. Erling Haaland again with a £2. Yes, Erling Haaland, mate. Appreciate the super chat, bro. It says, did anyone see Kovacic celebrating the Parma pen? So I've seen a video of this. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen it. He can't obviously be celebrating. He's got.
He can't be celebrating.
It just damn or something. You know what I mean?
Because he does this, doesn't he? As he turns around and does this, and I don't know what. He can't be celebrating. It's just
shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. He needs to come out and talk about it, because
he needs to clarify, because everyone keeps talking about it now. He can't be celebrating. It's just not a thing.
See the video. To be fair,
it's suicide to do that.
You look at the video and it does look weird, but you know, there's probably an obvious explanation for it. But no, I thought he did all right when he came on, to be fair. I thought he did a couple of turns under pressure. He obviously created that Rodri goal with his shot deflected and come out to him. But mate, Rodri looked like a man possessed. I was on the second row when he come running after that goal and slid in front of us. He looked like a man possessed, mate. And I love the passion, man. I love the passion.
I love it, mate. I love Rodri. He's so sick. So sick.
And the away end yesterday was fucking unreal, man. It was fantastic. The pub before the game, we went down to Wales Court. We got in this pub, and the whole pub was bouncing non-stop for about 3 hours proper. And I said to my pal, I hope they like this in the ground, because sometimes you get a boozer outside the ground and it's bouncing. You go in the ground and the energy's gone. But I tell you what, they didn't stop. They didn't stop. The City fans didn't stop. Chelsea fans said to me outside, he said, one of the best away ends I've seen that. He went, you didn't stop. And you know what? They couldn't get the irony of us singing Champions of Europe will never sing that. They were like getting all angry about it. And I heard a discussion in the pub, and this Chelsea fan went, no, for 10 years, we've been singing to them Champions of Europe. Yeah. They'll never sing that. So they're taking the piss. And this guy was like, no, they're not taking the piss. And he was like, no, they're taking, they had to break it down to him, like, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, mate. No more inflatable balloons. None of that bullshit anymore. Do you know what I mean? Champions was in town, treble winners. And no, it was a good game. Banter was good as well between the fans. It was, enjoyed it.
Yeah, man. I think I'm excited for the Big Six later on. I don't know how Hugh's going to deal with it. I've seen Hugh in the chat before as well, but hopefully...
I'm on the Big Six tonight. I'm on it.
Oh, you're on it?
I'm on it, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Also, Hugh has taken a step out. I need him to recover.
He's busy tonight, so I'm on the Big Six tonight. I was on there on Monday night, and so I'm on there tonight. I mean, it's not a lot. I did a preview with Matisse, and then I think they were fearing the worst, so he's probably over the moon. It's not a point. Yeah. I'm just going to, probably talk about the game, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm relaxed with it, but we got some big games coming up, mate. 3 big games coming up.
Major.
Liverpool, Spurs, Villa.
Villa away.
You know,
Villa away is disgusting.
Liverpool are going to see a little bit of something out of that and think, you know what, let's go toe-to-toe. The Etihad Stadium's a different animal. We know that. At home, we're a different kettle of fish. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. It's just going away from home and getting this right without Stones in there. There's something just missing. There's a little bit of an ingredient I think we need to come up with. I don't know what Pep's got up his sleeve, but the next 3 games could be very, very testing for us and let us know where we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the fact that Rodri got booked yesterday wasn't ideal, because now he's only 1 yellow card away from a suspension. So if he gets booked against in the Liverpool game, then he misses Spurs. I think it's that way around. But yeah, we kind of basically Rodri needs to be extra careful so he doesn't miss any of these next 3 games because they're massive.
Does he? When did he get cancelled off?
When does it reset? It's the halfway point, so 19 games in.
Is it?
Yeah. So how many games have we played now? 12. So
he's going to be treading.
So it's another 7.
He's going to be treading a tight warp in there. He's going to have to take one for the team. I think he'll miss a game. I can see it.
Yeah, surely Pep's got to be tactical about it. Maybe Villa. If he does it against Villa, we'll go to Luton. You'd like to think that we can do Luton without Rodri in there. So
have you seen the ticket situation for Luton today as well? We've been given 1,000 tickets. It starts at 31,000 loyalty points and ends at 27,000 loyalty points. So there's going to be a lot of people. If you give the 18 to 25s a percentage of that, there's going to be a lot of people that have been going a lot of years that ain't going to that game.
That ain't going to get to go to that game. That's going to be madness, that game. I still find it mad. Their stadium is actually wild. I seen fans coming out of it saying, we can see you in the bath, to like all chanting, we can see you in the bath at the houses at the back.
Wow.
Because you got to go through like terrace houses, haven't you?
Yeah, through that little stand through the terrace. They look like they bought, instead of buying a full row, they just brought a couple of 2 beds, 2 up, 2 down terraces, put a couple of turnstiles through the living room, and you just move through the back garden and into the ground. You know what I mean?
It's such a mad stadium, that. But yeah, like you say, there'll be a load of people.
We've got enough in that midfield. Obviously, no disrespect, to go to Luton and get a win.
It's not been disrespectful to say that. Because obviously we do have quality players. I think like even Kovacic could probably step into 6 for that game, and then you could so that's why Villa is where I'd be saying to Rodri, tactical booking, get yourself booked then late on in the game, and
just let it go.
Luton. Yeah.
Any more super chats?
Then it's done. Then. Yeah. We've got Amar says with a 2, he says Kovacic and Rodri as a midfield 2 moving forward.
Maybe.
Potentially, yeah, you potentially do that. I think he's only going to do that if he's dropping Alvarez in it. Like, I try to think of what our usual midfield 3 is. It's usually Rodri, Alvarez, and Bernardo. Or say like if Bernardo's playing the wing, then you can put Kovacic in there. We've seen it a few times with Kovacic and Rodri in the midfield. But, big up Amar, mate. Mojis with the 5. Big up Mojis, mate. Mojis gets about, you know. I see him like every time I dip on other people's streams, like say we're going like one of your videos on your channel or the Big Six, anything like that. I always see Mojis everywhere, mate. the guy gets
Big
about.
Mo, man. Yeah, he's been a regular for years on the Big Six, and that he was always backing me on there. Big Mo, yeah, appreciate him.
He says with a 5, he says, Big Steve, don't let the gremlin get too big for his boots. Remind him it was a draw.
I'll have him. I'll pipe him, push him down tonight. Be right. Give us a slap.
Mancunian Way with a 5. Big up Mancunian Way, mate. Says, Blues, let's remain calm. No panic. We won't win every game. Also, stop this Jack versus Doku stuff. Back all our lads. We're built differently. Blues. Yes. Martin,
yeah, we
mate.
are. I mean, I get it. Listen, we get it. We've talked about it. It's boring. You know, we've got 2 fantastic left-sided players. One's rapid and wants to fucking burst onto the scene and fucking kill everyone. And the other ones had to learn how to control the game and relax. And you know, he's been brilliant for us and won us a treble. But, you know, we'd rather have both of them on our team than on someone else's team. You know what I mean?
True. They could think. I think people think it's one or the other, but they can coexist. They can both be City players. They both offer 2 different things to the side that Pep will utilize in different games. So they are both allowed to be at City. I think people like... Basically, people slate Jack because he's not the exciting one like that Doku is, but Jack brings a different side of it. He brings.
Someone just made a good point there. Alvarez is playing too much because of KDB injury. That could be right. It could be right that, you know what I mean, when KDB's back. But at least he's give him a good run, and at least we know now we can trust him in big games.
Yeah.
He played at Old Trafford and that. He's played yesterday. So maybe when Kevin does come back, it would be good to just give Alvarez a little bit of a rest every now and then, freshen him up. I don't believe we've got going fully yet. I do believe that when we get Kevin back and Stones and maybe maybe one addition in January, maybe 2, then you might see a different team after the break.
I agree. Like I say, we're always second half of the season kind of thing, but I think getting Kev back in the side like towards in the second half of the season, I think we'll go up levels then.
Yeah.
It's exciting as a City fan to look at it and think like we're not even at our best and we're still 1 point clear at the top. Like there should be absolutely no meltdown. Kevin De Bruyne. Our best player's not even played.
Yeah, they asked Haaland yesterday on an interview on a foreign channel. I think I seen it. The guy said, Kevin De Bruyne in that kind of game with all that space, would he have been putting the balls through to you? And he was like, yeah, defo.
Yeah. There's a time as well when Doku was running in on the left hand side, and I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Bernardo Silva running through the middle. And he doesn't make the pass to Doku, but it's one of the ones where, do you remember the Sane pass where Kev passed to Sane against Stoke? Exactly like that. And the stuff like that we've not seen yet, which we'll get to see a lot more of when Kev's come back. I think the Kev and Doku dynamic, I think that'll be good.
There's a Tottenham fan in the chat, Ronnie. What has happened to City? Chelsea could have scored 10. What happened to City is, Ronnie, they scored 4, same against you. But the difference is we scored 4 and we got a point and you got battered. So calm down, Ronnie, Spurs fan. Behave.
Max. Erling Haaland 2 says Haaland hat-trick versus my hometown on the 25th.
Liverpool.
Is that what it is? Is that when it is? 25th? It is, yeah. Madness. I hope so, mate. True Dogs with a 5 says at some point Pep will have to see what our strongest team looks like without Alvarez in midfield even before Kevin comes back.
Yeah, listen, I think Pep took a lot from that game yesterday. I think he knows what he's going to do. He'll go away and have a little think. He'll come back and there's no hiding. These 3 big games coming up. We can't hide from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just got to get on with it. You know, got to get on with it and get the points. If we can get 9 points out of the next 3 games, that's unbelievable.
If we get 9 points in 3 games, that's
unbelievable. Everyone might as well wrap it up.
Yeah, may as well just call it.
Do you know what's happening this year? everyone's beating each other, and it's going a bit mad at the minute. We're having that mad stage. We usually get that near the end when the top 4 clubs decide they don't want Champions League and they all start losing, and you think, who's going to take the Champions League spot? But it's happening now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of injuries going about as well. There's a lot of injuries going about.
Yeah, there's
I don't know what it is, but it is.
Injuries this season.
But no, I'm enjoying it. It's exciting. You know, one minute you're seeing Bournemouth at weekend. They're beating they beat Newcastle. You know, after getting slavered off us. You know, you got Forest having a go at West Ham. You know, you got Luton and Liverpool drawing Kenilworth Road the other week. So the league's
beating Spurs last minute. Like, it's crazy, isn't it?
Exactly.
Tottenham got unbeaten until Wolves, and then Wolves get a last minute winner is insane. Like, I think this season's gonna be a mad season. You know, I believe that at some point we'll split from the pack. I think that they can continue all having a mad season, but I think.
Well, listen, if we'd have won yesterday, we'd have got our noses in front a bit further. We could really, if you look back at the games we've dropped points in, it's disappointing, and really we could think, right, we could be 6 or 7 clear at this point. But you know, it is what it is. We'll take it. We're top of the league, and we're still going. I just think we've got to relax. I just don't want no meltdowns. Just enjoy the football, look at the game, and think, you know what, we got a point. It was a great game of football. You know, I'm not going to see a better game of football than that for a while, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. Simo, subs with the 18 months membership. Yes, Simo, mate. 18 months is a long time, mate. Appreciate the support. It's what a mad weekend, eh? Some big games coming up, but nothing we can't handle. Just got to hope Eddie's fit again after the international break. Yeah, whilst we stream, we got the news, the fact that Edison and Kovacic both injured. However, we don't know how serious that's going to be, and hopefully they're back by the time the international break's over. The thing is with Edison, I wasn't even concerned when he was down. Like, I know how sick he's been, but having Ortega is an insane backup goalkeeper. That's like the levels that is mint. So I was completely confident if Edison had to go off, that Ortega would step up. I feel like Ortega's been waiting for a chance like that as well.
Yeah, it's not like we've been back in the old days where we're shitting it because Zach Steffen's coming in for the FA Cup semi-final. You know what I mean? So you're right, there's levels. But no, listen, it's a Monday night, international break again, boring as shit. Missy's going to have me doing DIY. All the shit I don't want to be doing, I'm going to have to now do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone's in the same boat. We're all there. We just got to take it on the chin. The last international break, I think, did we not get beat? I think, we went into one international break beat, and I was like depressed even more because I wanted it back to get that feeling back. But
yeah, to wipe it out in memory.
Yeah, but we're straight in. Yeah. We're straight in when we get back, straight into the big one, early kick-off Liverpool, and all I'm saying is don't panic, relax. Pep knows what he's doing, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, well, buzzing.
Is that us done? Have we got any more super chats? Or is that us done?
No, that's us done, mate. That is us done. Appreciate everyone who's liked the stream. Appreciate everyone who's been in the chat and that, giving your thoughts. Obviously, big up to Big Steve, as always. Your own show, innit? I
just want to address this in the chat. Andrew, Steve, have a word. City are selling out of Balti Pies in 117 last game. Listen, Andrew, I'm going to have a word about that because that's no good. And do you know what? I found out who does the pies, right? It's a company called Bowen's Pies. And last week, I bought a 12-pack of chicken Balti Pies for my stepson. And they delivered them the other day to my house. I've got 12 chicken Baltis in my fridge. So if you're struggling, Andrew, and you want one, they're 40 quid each because it's like Prime now. They're 40 quid each because there's a shortage of chicken Baltis. But I've got 12. So DM me on Instagram. 40 quid, I'll get you the pie whizzed over. Bowen's Pies, man. Get on them.
Anyone wants a Bowen's pie, mate?
True story.
As if you went and found the company.
I'm going to put one on my Instagram story in a minute after this stream just to show you that I have got 12 Bowen pies.
Did you do a giveaway of a pie?
Yeah. Listen, people, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Everybody tuning into this show. Please hit a like on the stream. It helps the algorithm. It's international break. It's depressing. So hit a like. Thanks for following me on here. Thanks for following me at Big Steve MCFC. And people, peace. Let's go. 4-0. Come on, City.
Go on, City.